Hello, and welcome to Guidance for Better Life. I'm excited about today's show. I have a friend of mine who's a professional musician, a college professor, and an author. He's a busy guy. But he has a beautiful story of how he helped somebody he loves, it was his mom, overcome her fear of death. And the fear of death was almost paralyzing his mom, and it changed her life. I think if you have any fear of death, or have a family friend that has any concern about death, that may not help everything, but I hope this story will help some. So I hope you stick around. Hi, Lawrence.
Hi.
Thanks for coming down.
Thanks for having me.
Now, you drove down from New York a while back. You're
Yes.
down here in the mountains of Virginia,
Yep.
the nature school. So
Yeah.
thanks for coming down.
It's good to be here.
So this is a neat story. I think you called it, we'll tell them the title later. It was in book 5. Your story is actually it's on Amazon, book 5, and I think it's chapter 5, something like that. I think you call it not lights out, but lights on.
Lights on.
When people
not
die,
lights
they
out.
think lights are out, and you
Yeah.
told your mom, no, it's actually lights on.
Lights on, right.
But now you visited your mom,
Yeah.
and you know your mom. You have an unusually close, I've known you for 20 years or more.
Yeah.
You have a really close, more than just a mom, she's a friend. There's
Yeah.
something special about you and your mom, a really beautiful relationship.
Absolutely.
And you're pretty intuitive how she's feeling, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you visited her here a while back, a few years ago, and what were you picking up? Something was different. What were you noticing?
Well, yeah, it was like something was off, I was talking to her, we were having a conversation, and it just felt like something just wasn't, it wasn't that usual, easy, free-flowing connection.
Yeah.
Like something was bothering her, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you were trying to find out what, but nothing seemed to quite fit.
Right, we were sort of troubleshooting.
Troubleshooting.
You
okay.
know, like,
is it this?
is it this? Is it that? Is it,
money problems or something or other? And
right, or like
it
some contractor didn't show up on time, or
Okay.
whatever. But it just what we weren't.
And in your story, you started getting an inner nudge, like a divine in feeling from spirit, and you had all of a sudden almost like an epiphany or something. I think in your story, it hit you hard.
Well,
That it was something totally different than she was talking about.
I would say that I actually asked for help.
Oh, that's even better.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Because while we were talking, I just really was trying to rely on the divine and just
Which you've learned to listen to for a lot of years.
Learned to
You
listen
have
to.
very good inner communication.
right, and it's something I've learned to tune into, and I was
Okay.
asking for help. I was like, how can I be a blessing to my mom?
And you were asking, if I remember your story right, there's a lot to it. And we don't cover everything in these stories and these interviews. So there's more in the book.
Right.
But you asked the divine, there's something bothering my mom and she's not sharing it. Is that basically what you were saying? What is bothering my mom?
Yeah.
Because what she talked about, it wasn't fitting.
Yeah.
Is that what the deal was?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, more or less.
And what did you get?
Well, what came out is that she's afraid of dying. She's afraid of death.
Was it a fuzzy thing or was that a very clear, that's it, she's afraid of death?
Well, it came out as I asked the question, and
Okay.
it was very clear as soon as it was out of my mouth
Okay.
by her reaction.
When you got that from the divine, her real problem is fear of death.
Yeah.
That's why she's depressed and just not really living life to the fullest. She
Yeah.
kind of was closing down.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think she was going out much. She really was not living life because she was afraid of dying.
Yeah, exactly.
And when you got that from the divine and
Yeah.
you said, Mom, I'm not sure how you said it, but
Right.
Mom, are you afraid of death?
Yeah, exactly. I asked her.
And how did she react?
It was a really strong reaction. It was
Okay.
just like I saw her whole body language change, and it was like, when you hit the nail on the head, you see.
You knew that was the answer. Okay.
And then, yeah, like you said, she said she's not only afraid of dying, it was keeping her from being able to live, because she was like so. And she also said that she used to believe in heaven more, but as she was getting older, she was starting to question it. Like,
Okay.
where was she going to go, or was she going to go anywhere, or would it just be lights out?
And you told her, no, it's not lights out, Mom.
I said it's lights on.
It's
It's,
lights
actually
on.
quite the opposite.
It's the opposite.
It's quite the opposite.
Now, in your story, it's a fairly long story. We have like 50 stories in these books about testifying to God's love.
Yeah.
And yours is a little longer than usual. It goes into a lot of things,
Sure.
and we may not cover it all.
Yeah.
But why did she believe you? How did you help her understand that you knew what you were talking about? You weren't just trying to tell her it's fine. She had a great deal of confidence in you. And why is that so?
Well, it was interesting because she seemed to really get it when I told her that it would be lights on. She seemed to really believe it.
Okay.
And she said the reason she believed it is because she knew I knew it.
Because you were confident.
It was
what
the
you're saying.
confidence. It was the knowing beyond a
Okay.
shadow of a doubt that this is true.
Okay. And that's true. That's actually a good point. If you ask them a question, and depending how they respond, you have more confidence in their answer, or you go, I don't think they know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
But the way you came across,
Yep.
she believed you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she really did. And I feel like that because she believed me, that it really
Now, what did it do for her?
it made a difference. I saw the relief come over her in that conversation.
Okay.
I could just tell that it was like this weight was lifted.
Wow. That quick, she started feeling different.
Yeah.
And it was palatable.
Yes, absolutely. It was instantaneous, it seemed, because somehow that caused her to be able to let go of that fear.
Okay.
Because she realized that, it's not going to be lights out. I mean, I'm thinking, imagine what it must feel like to think it could be lights out.
That's it. There's no existence, no nothing, no memory.
Right.
Never see family again. It's just gone. Lights out. And it's not. It's actually quite the opposite, like you said.
Yeah.
And I want to get into why you're so confident of that. But first, after you left her that day, how about the weeks and months after? Did she just fall right back into her depression?
No.
Or was it a lasting, I'm not saying it's a healing, but
Right.
a lasting difference?
It was a big difference. I mean, in the subsequent conversations we had, she sounded happy. She told me that her depression had all but disappeared. Wow. And she said she was actually looking forward to things, like looking forward to her life versus, sort of dreading the end or something. So, so it was like a kind of a renaissance almost. In her life.
Huge transformation.
Yeah.
What a gift of love you gave her. Awesome.
Yeah. Thanks.
And that's really where we could stop the interview. I appreciate it. But I think our audience might want to know, I've known you for a long time. It's true that when you come across a certain way, people have more confidence in you. And when you come across kind of a certain way, and I think everybody can relate to that, you go, I don't think that person really knows what they're saying.
Right.
All right, we talked about that.
Yeah.
But you truly are confident that it's not lights out, it's lights on. This is kind of beyond your mom now.
Right.
A little different part of the story.
Sure.
Without going into great detail, how come you are truly so confident? That wasn't just bravado on your part, just you're a good actor and you came across with confidence. You genuinely, for real, in your own life are confident that it's not lights out. It's totally the opposite.
Yes.
That life goes on. Just a little bit for the audience, because it might help somebody out there, and I hope this show blesses them. It's so sad to be so afraid of dying that, like your mom, literally, you don't enjoy life.
That's right.
What are some of the reasons you know that it's not lights out, it's literally lights on?
Because I've been blessed to have an incredible relationship with God and with the divine.
Okay.
And through that relationship, I've had experiences of experiencing the real me as soul. And and as soul, I'm eternal. I'm an eternal spark of God.
Okay.
I know that's the real me. I know that.
And you've experienced it.
I've actually experienced it.
You've actually experienced you as soul, the eternal part of you.
Yes.
That part of you, more the image of God, I've known you for a long time.
Yeah.
You've actually had spiritual experiences of leaving your body,
Yes.
like a death, but coming back in and traveling and doing things, and realize when the body wears out someday,
Yep.
that part of you with your consciousness, loving the people you love, and
Yeah.
you won't forget, that continues on. So you've actually had a taste. You didn't die permanently, but you've actually experienced what it's like to leave your body and your
Yes.
consciousness and come back into your body.
Yes.
So when the body wears out completely, it's really not going to be much of a surprise for you. Just
Right.
go on.
Yeah. Just
And
go
where do you
on.
go? Do you go to, without too much detail, do you go to really dark places, or you go to places
You
lights
go,
on?
You go to places that are brighter and more splendorous than I think anyone could even imagine on planet Earth.
So literally,
So literally,
lights on.
lights on.
And you still have your feelings and love connections?
Yeah.
You don't forget your family? You still think about them?
Yeah.
Wow.
And you get to reconnect with loved ones that have passed.
Okay.
Which is, it's just such a blessing to know that.
So life, when the body is finished in this life,
Mm-hmm.
life is not really over. It just changes to a different form.
Different form. Yeah.
But it's not over.
It's not over.
Okay.
No.
So, and I understand you. You've been up here to the school where we travel spiritually and do
Right.
things like that. So I understand your answers very well. But I wanted the audience to have a little bit of background.
Sure.
So you weren't just using bravado
Mm-hmm.
and tricked your mom into thinking, boy, he's really confident. You
Right.
genuinely are at peace with death if it happens.
Yeah.
Does that, I'm asking about you, and this is a trick question, I guess, I hadn't planned, but do you feel, you know that, do you feel you live life more fully knowing that yourself? This is about your mom, just you now.
Yeah, I do.
Do you really?
I really do. Yeah.
I'm just thinking, I introduced you as a friend. I've known you how many years now? 20-something?
Over 20.
Over 20. You've been a
Yeah.
student up here and a friend.
Yeah.
You're a professional musician that have done recordings. You're on another, I used to call them albums. What do you
Right.
call them nowadays?
We still call them albums.
You call them albums.
Albums,
Maybe they're
records.
Not
you know.
albums.
Yeah.
It used to be albums and stuff.
Right.
Back in the Beatles and Rolling Stones and stuff.
Right.
And you're also a college professor at 2 colleges.
Yeah.
That might be an example of you're definitely living life.
I feel that way.
You also jog every day.
Yep. Yeah.
You
morning.
travel, do things.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now we'll never know, but I wonder if you hadn't had the experiences up here at the school over the years where you know you go on after death.
Mm.
I wonder if you could handle all that, or if you just kind of sit around moping. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I suspect there's a connection.
Yeah, because your life is very full.
It is.
And you're teaching, and you're also doing recordings, right?
Yeah,
And you're
yeah.
still doing what you guys call gigs.
Yep.
You're still performing.
Still doing gigs. Yep.
So
Yeah.
you have a very active life,
It's a very abundant life.
very abundant life.
Yeah.
Yes.
I see a connection between having an abundant life and having a relationship with God. And the
Okay.
stronger and richer my relationship with God is, the more abundant my life has gotten, the more things have just bloomed.
You really feel that.
I know it.
Okay. Very cool. Well, thank you for being a wonderful friend, and thank you for blessing your mom with that truth. And thank you for asking the divine when you knew she wasn't hitting the nail on the head, as you said, when she's talking about possible things that would depress her.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so cool that you asked the divine, and you built this relationship where you have communication with spirit.
Yeah.
And you got the answer, and when you told her, are you fear of dying, Mom? It changed her life. Changed her life when you gave her some clarity on, don't worry, it'll be fine. It won't be lights out, it'll be lights on. So thank you so much for making the long drive.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lawrence. And I hope this show in some way, shape, or form blesses you. There's really nothing, I can say this, but until you have some experience like Lawrence has, it may not come across very strong, but there's really nothing to be afraid of death. Yes, we miss people and they miss us, but the love continues, and eventually you'll see them, and life goes on and on and on. So that's probably enough for today without getting me in trouble, but I really hope this show blesses you. I truly do. And thank you for watching.